And let's decide, we want our mountain just to be on this one side of our painting. So we can take it, let's mush on that color, right? Pick up some of it, come drop it over here. Making a couple little humps. Take this guy, start working him down this way. Right? What do we want him to look like? Maybe he came down, maybe he hit, and he started to rotate. So we'll take a bit more of that color, pull it down, hit, come down this way. This guy's gonna drag off over here. Right? Maybe, just maybe, we had a little hill coming in off of this side. Bam, and all we have to do is place it up there, and then when I pull it out with the brush, you're gonna see some magic. Right? This guy maybe will come off the edge, come down over here. We don't want him to be too big, otherwise he's gonna overtake our scene. And we all know that with the amount of paint that we put up there, right? If you don't know, let me show you, just real quick. I have to look at my ugly mug again. The 3 P's of Paint with Josh. Paint, pressure, practice, right? You can see them all the way down there. If you're watching on Instagram anyway. All the way down there. Now we're gonna come up here with the amount of paint that we have on the canvas, right? We're gonna take our brush and add pressure. How much pressure do we want it to slide down like that, right? Do you want it to continue sliding? Maybe there's a whole little section right there. That looks really cool. I'll lift it up like that. What if we pull this guy down this way just a little bit? Right? Maybe there's a little ridge in between him and his lifted area over here. Maybe this guy comes down, straight down, hits our little slide, goes down that way, right? Just about half of the mountain comes down and does this. Very cool. The more we push, the more it grows, right? So off the front side, the light side, why don't we come off like this guy, coming down in this direction. And the more that we pull with our brush swipes, especially if we have some color on the brush, right? The more you're gonna notice that little ridge that's pulled out right there, right? So you got our flat side going down this way, got a whole nother side coming down this way, down into our little pinky bit. Woo! Look at that. That's perfect placement right there. Okay? Now, here comes the fun part. We take the knife. We caught it on the sharp end. Try not to catch it on the sharp end. Now, we need to mix up a few little bits of our shadowy, snowy color. So let's take a bit of our white paint and just a little squeege of that pure blue, Prussian blue paint. Just a little squeege of it. Not a lot. A little bit. Come down here. Mix it up. Now, it's going to turn into like this sky blue color, right? We don't really necessarily need it to be sky blue. So we want to darken it down a little bit with just a little, that's too much, just a little scrape of that darkness, right? And that darkness is going to dull it down, bring it down to a duller, kind of bluish gray color. Now, look at all those swipes, those different colors in there, right? That's what you want to have. All those little differences. So when we come up and we scrape some of this guy up, come off the backside of our little mountain and just dump it down, we're going to have all these little pieces gripping along our sheer cliffs back there, right? Now, say they came down and they hit, they started to go this way. Take all that snow, just with the directional swipies of our brush, pulling it down our little angle over here. What if this whole backside of this guy was covered in snow? Whole little glacial section. And then, what if we had the whole bit right here, just kind of meeting up? Not every piece has to run all the way down, right? Very cool. Now, check this out. Why don't we take about double the amount of white paint that we grabbed the first time, and just a little squidge of the blue that we already made. We don't want to go back to the pure blue up here. Just a little bit that we already made up, and that way we'll have a little twinge of blue in our white color right here. It's not going to be the purest of white. We know there's blue in there. We just added a little bit, right? We didn't want to add too much because then it'll make it look like that shadow, which we want to bounce off of, right? So, wipe off all that excess paint. We could use all that. Look at that. We could do a whole mountain with that guy. Scrape this guy up like that. Pull it down. Scrape up a little bit of paint. Come off of our mountainside. And as we drag down in those little different ways and different areas, we're going to start to build where our mountain's being hit by the light. Now, up here, let's come and grab onto this guy and just whip it down off the side. Just let it whip. Whip it good. Now, as we come in here, I don't want it to be such a straight line, right? So if we go over, we dab at it, come grab some here, drop it down there. Little pieces are starting to come together, guys. Starting to come together. Now, what if we came up here, big old crazy amount, sliding it off the edge, bam, 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 bam. Whole nother little peak just appeared right there. What if we do it again down here? Another little peak. Fill in that little spot. pulling it off in this direction. Long swipes, light pressure. Long swipes, light pressure. Look at that. We just built the whole mountain, you guys. Just literally builded a whole mountain. You can get this guy to go even further down if you want. Just remember, we're going to have some trees and stuff over on this side, so you don't want to go too crazy with our colors and too much paint on the canvas, right? That's so cool, guys. You can't tell me it ain't. That's a pretty little mountain right there. Now, any little piece of white or color that we leave down around the base is going to turn into a bit of misty fog. So even though I don't want light over here, I do want mist. And that way, if we leave a little bit of our extra white color there, come back with our 2-inch brush and just start tapping at it, right? Back and forth, like a little typewriter. We come down, we go a little bit lower, but we're going down, we're going out. We're coming up, we're going out. Going over there. This whole time just tapping little things, little baby bits, and that way we create that misty look. We take away the look of the snow, right? So now the snow's not so thick, it's not so heavy all the way down there, because you got that mixed up, right? You got it all mistied, it's all light enough to add a new layer. Okay, same thing, we've been pulling in this direction to soften the blue. Now, do we pull in this direction across all that white, or do we turn our brush and rotate with the grain doing the same thing? You guys got to let me know. I'm not moving forward until you give me the go-ahead and say, you know what, Josh, you are totally right. Bam, bam, bam. A bit of extra brightness out there. Very cool. Let me see what you guys say on Instagram. How easily I'm doing it. This is oil painting, guys, oil painting. Let's see. With the grain, says Tiffany. With, says Shannon Bourne 84. Glitterwix says, yay! I was just talking about you earlier, Glitterwix. So if you guys are over there on Instagram watching, Glitterwix is in the comments. Dr. Pepper. Like a legit Dr. Pepper smelling candle that won't give you poisonous fumes by coming out of an aluminum can. And like I said, this is what they look like when they light. This one was blue originally, and you can see all of the colors. Look at how clean that candle's burned. Not one bit of soot on the edge, nothing, right? Not even the wax, maybe just right here where the wax is kind of attached to the side of the glass, but that's it. The most clean burning candles you'll ever find, and these new jars are so cool looking, I just can't get over them. So, you guys go follow Glitterwix over there on Instagram. She does all of those candles, and she does them live on TikTok. It's awesome. Now, let's come back with the grain. We'll go back over this way. Swiping it up, swiping it up, swiping it up. Very soft. I'm not trying to move the paint. We're just trying to soften it down, disturb it a little bit, make it a little bit blurry, a little harder to see, a little further away. The same thing back in here with this little guy, just as lightly as we possibly can, right? Look at that. All that depth in there. Okay, now we were going with the grain on this side. Same thing with our little swipes, right? So now we have to turn our brush. Come down here like a clock. Now we're at 6 o'clock. Now we're coming down and we're grabbing, just like a little typewriter. We're going out. Grabbing it with the corner, tapping it out. Grabbing it with the corner, tapping it out. Tapping it out, tapping it out, tapping it out, tapping it out, tapping it out. The more you can tap out over here, right, the more little misty fogginess you're going to have. I don't want to go all the way up to the top of the mountain. Just like that, coming from every side, just like a clock, right? So from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock is where we work down here. Each way that you go on your mountain, you've got to work this way, or tap down that way, or same over here, work this way, or tap down this way, right? All depends on which side of your mountain you're on, and then you can get it to look more 3D like that, guys.